Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Nikki Burnett here, Taste Life Nutrition, functional nutritionist. I practice strategic evidence-based consulting, and we're going to start another series today. We want to start talking about getting pregnant. So originally, I was going to talk about fertility, which is a little bit different. It gets a little bit more into the sciencey things, hormones and genetics and that kind of thing. But like right now, I am surrounded by pregnant people, which is amazing. I'm just super excited for them. But, friends and family and clients, they're all kinds of pregnant people. And especially the people that I know who are close to me, what all the things that they have done, whether it's been, through my guidance or their own research or both, typically. I wanted to share a little bit about what it is that we can do to prepare for pregnancy, because I think it's really important to keep that in mind, is that preparing for pregnancy is what creates a healthy baby. We don't want to be in a place of dishealth and try to get pregnant, because these genes can be passed on. So I work a lot with successful professionals, and many of them get to a point, both men and women. This is a talk for men and women, because when we're talking about preparing for pregnancy, we're talking about men and women. In most cases, I suppose. Anyway, but I work with a lot of professionals, and they get to a point where they decide they want to have a baby, and then they're just ready right then and now. And so a lot of times what I have to do is take that step back. And it's not always an easy thing to do, but take that step back and say, okay, I know you're ready now, but let's plan. Let's plan how to make sure that your body is in the best place and in the safest place to carry a baby, but not just carry the baby, create that baby, because what you're creating will last that baby's lifetime and literally will pass on through generations. So that's what we really want to think about. We don't want to just think about right now. We always want to live in the present and so forth, but living in the present is great. But when we're talking about lives and creating lives, we really want to think about many generations to come, because it is proven that our genetics, especially our epigenome, I'll get into that in a minute, but that can be passed on. I believe they're showing 2 to 3 generations. So it's incredible and it's amazing, but we want to do our best to really prepare for such a beautiful thing, like having babies. All right. So I want to welcome everybody. Thank you. I love being a part of the journey with clients, with people who are working to get pregnant and working to get their bodies healthy. And so one of the things I want to say is, if you have questions, feel free to post them. I'll do my best to answer them as they come in. And I'm also going to try to keep this at about 15 minutes. So this will be a series of talks. We'll get as far as we can, and I'll try to stop it right around 15 minutes, and we'll try to pick it up again next time. All right. And so it can be, as I stated a few minutes ago, it can be really exciting to start thinking about preparing for pregnancy. But this is the time when you want to start thinking about, okay, where is my health? How do I feel? Am I really stressed? Is there fatigue? Do I have any kind of condition? Is it an autoimmune condition? Am I a little bit overweight? Am I a little bit underweight? Whatever might be going on with you, and this is for the men as well, as I said, whatever could be going on with them, this is going to affect a number of things. It's going to affect the ability to become pregnant. It's going to affect the ability to stay pregnant, and then it will affect baby, and very, very potentially anyway, later on. So, and when I'm talking about later on, I'm not talking just about, during delivery or as a child. I'm talking about into adulthood. We can have an effect on our kiddos through adulthood, and then again on to our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So I want to hit on what I believe to be it's really, I think, one of the key things in life, period, And it's a hard one to manage. It's hard for me to manage, but stress. I'm sure you've heard me say in the past that stress shrinks the brain, and it literally does. I mean, that is a scientific fact that stress shrinks the brain. So not only does it shrink the brain, but it affects our health and it can be passed on. So what can happen is we have these stress hormones that, especially, the one we hear about a lot is cortisol. And so cortisol, what can happen is it is meant for those times of severe stress. We have an accident, we break something, or back in the day when we're running from tigers and things like that. So these are really important, and when they spike like they're supposed to do, they spike, they're anti-inflammatory, and they help the body respond really, really quickly. What can happen though is where we live today, we have these constant stressors. So if it's work, if it's life, if it's marriage, if it's pollutants in the air, if it's family, whatever it might be, we have this constant state of stress, and more stress than probably we had, back however many years ago. And so we're not managing it well. And I'm not sure why that is, but we're not learning how to manage it. So what happens is we have these cortisol levels that stay elevated. When cortisol stays elevated, it becomes inflammatory. Then it becomes catabolic. So what that means is it's breaking down muscle tissue. Okay, so this isn't a healthy place to be. So, what also can happen though is if we have, the cortisol, the adrenaline, catecholamines, which is our epinephrine, our norepinephrine, if those are elevated, then what can happen is it releases the body's sex hormone, or one of the sex hormones called gonadotropin releasing hormone. And what happens then is it suppresses ovulation. So we wonder why when we're stressed, we don't ovulate. And that's what could be going on. It also reduces sperm count in men. It can lower libido, and it just can decrease fertility, period. These stress hormones, if already pregnant, can affect the baby as well. So we want to keep these stress hormones under control. It's not always, as I said, it's not always the easiest thing. This is something that I have worked on myself for quite a few years now. I'll tell you that starting a business is, as many of you know, is not the easiest thing in the world. And that's what we have to learn. I had to learn how to mitigate my stress. So things that we can do is, it sounds really easy. I know that it's not really easy, but getting enough sleep, going to bed at a decent time, getting up early enough to where you're going to be tired later on. That's something that I have to work on because I'm more of a night owl. I'm not an early riser. So getting out of bed in the morning is not always easy for me, because it's warm and cozy, right? And so I really desperately want to be those people that just hops out of bed, but I'm not. But getting up early enough to where you have a good full day, you're tired, and you're ready to go to sleep. Understandably, the mind races, things happen, and there are chemical imbalances that happen due to whatever's going on in life and stress. So beyond getting enough sleep, what we want to do that hopefully will help in starting to get enough sleep will be exercise. Exercise is an amazing way to get the body ready to go to sleep. Whether you are an early morning exerciser, as some are, or a late afternoon exerciser, which is what I typically do, then make it something that's fun for you and mix it up. I find that I have to mix it up. I love yoga. It's the best, but I'm doing CrossFit now because CrossFit's amazing and I've had the best time with it and it's active. So change it up, find what's good for you, go for a walk. At minimum, go for a walk. And truly walking is one of the very best things you can do for your entire body. And then some weightlifting. We also have to have the weightlifting, okay, for that muscle mass and bone health. Reading, yoga. Again, yoga can be for strength, it can be for meditation, it can be for calm. Yoga, there are many different yoga practices. So yoga is great. Meditation has not been an easy one for me personally, but I have a pretty good meditation practice now, and it's awesome. And so what I want to really get across to you when it comes to meditation is it's not about sitting on the floor straight back and cross legs and you like you see on TV. I can't meditate that way. I'm very uncomfortable. It doesn't work for me. For me personally, I like to be on my back with my feet up, and if possible, I'm outside in the sun. If you know me, I've said this a million times. When I look outside, I can look outside of my window here and the sun is shining and it's bright. I crave going and laying in the sun for a little bit to feel the heat and to meditate. And meditation for me is focusing on what it could be focusing on what I need in practice. It could be focusing on what I need in my personal life. It could just be focusing on my breathing. So it's not about not thinking, because you're going to think. You just bring your mind back to the one place. Meditation biochemically is amazing. It will change your biochemistry. It brings cortisol levels down. It's awesome. And then journaling, regular journaling, gratitude journaling is also another thing that has taken me a long time to put into practice, but I'm finally mostly there. I'm not all the way, but journaling and gratitude journaling is a great way to bring yourself into the present, be grateful for what you have, be grateful for what's to come. And it just makes you happier. And those happy hormones, right? That's what helps us. That's what helps baby and what creates a healthy baby. So it's just an amazing thing to really get a practice. And you can do some of these things at the same time. That's what I do personally, is I do my meditation, and I try to meditate twice a day. It doesn't always work. But do my meditation, do my gratitude journaling, and my weekly to-dos, and my list of what I need to come into my life, the things that I need to do. All of this I do. I try to do all together. And it's been a really cool practice. It's really changed a lot of things. It's awesome. Happy to talk more about that at any point if anybody has questions, okay? Okay, so there are some herbs that are great for relieving stress. Herbs, essential oils, those are amazing. So there's some of my favorite things called adaptogens. If you haven't heard of adaptogens, it's really difficult to understand how they work. I have a hard time understanding really how they work, but things like ashwagandha, L-euthro, ginseng, those are adaptogens. And what that means is they allow the body to adapt to whatever situation is going on. It's true. So if you're in a high stress situation and you start taking these adaptogens, and it doesn't typically work immediately, it takes a little bit of time for them to kick in, but it allows the body to adapt. It allows the adrenals to adapt. It allows those cortisol levels to come down. It allows you to react in a manner that, in whatever situation, that is appropriate for that situation. It allows for you to take a step back and assess and address if necessary. So adaptogens are just really great. There's one that I use. It's almost the only one that I use. There are a couple of others, but it's probably one of the best ones. And it's loved. It's much loved because it works so well. But then there's also bee pollen. It can boost immunity and fertility. Chamomile is great for reducing stress, for helping you to relax, for going into sleep. Just like lavender is great for helping you to relax and get into sleep, or just to chill out. Sometimes that's what we need. Lemon balm, it's amazing. I have lemon balm, if you ever plant it, will go nuts, and it's beautiful and it smells amazing, but I've got it all over my yard now. But you can use that. It helps to helps with a healthy stress response. It lessens depression. It's also antiviral and antimicrobial, so cool stuff. You can cook with it. You can make tea out of it. Especially when it's things like that you can get out of your yard. I mean, if you're not a gardener, at the very least, plant some lavender, plant some lemon balm, plant some of these herbs where you can take them just straight from the yard and put them in tea or put them in your food. It's the most amazing thing. Talk about meditative, is just going out in your yard and making lunch or making dinner out of your yard. That's where I am right now. And I just love it. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. Have a very small little space and they'll flourish, and you'll flourish along with it. It's good stuff. Okay. So there's another thing on my list here. Oh, sorry. A couple of adaptogens that I want to talk about are ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a great adaptogen. It's good for the thyroid and adrenal function. There's also the L-euthro, like I mentioned. L-Euthro can strengthen the immune system, and it can help you to better adapt to stressful situations. But there are other adaptogens as well. And then there are the combinations like the one that I typically use. On my list here is maca, and maca is really an amazing herb. It tastes amazing. It's kind of sort of, I don't know, sort of cinnamony, chocolatey, herby. I love it. I love it in making like smoothies if you want kind of a chocolatey, herby smoothie. It's really good stuff, but it is incredibly strong. It's not something that you want to do every day unless you know what you're doing and it's therapeutic, because it will build testosterone, which is okay for some. It also will boost estrogen. It can increase the intensity of PMS if you don't need it, but it can also increase sex drive. So you want to really be careful with this. It does nourish the endocrine system. It's a great herb, but you have to be careful with it. Just because it's an herb doesn't mean that it doesn't create good or bad situations. Because believe me, I've experienced it, because I love it and I used it too much. Not a good thing. So I have to be careful with how much I use now, but just keep that in mind. It's happened, and it can happen. So also the biggest thing that really, really important to keep in mind, and probably most of you know this, for women, if you become pregnant, do not continue these herbs. There are very few things that are actually studied in pregnant women. A few, yes. But these herbs, I would say all of them are hands down no for taking while pregnant. So be aware, if you are pregnant or if you think you're pregnant, stop taking these herbs and any other herbs, right? The things that are safe in pregnancy are like DHA, fish oil, a good prenatal, some magnesium, it's really quite basic, and we want to be really careful. Just because, nobody's going to study these things in pregnant women and take any chances. So just be aware of that. All right. So we got through stress. We have a lot more things to go through, but we're sitting now at 17 and a half minutes. And I really do want to kind of keep these short. I tend to go on and on, but I want to get these, or have these where they're kind of in, bite sizes for you to take in. So I'm going to stop this now. Next time, we'll continue talking about getting pregnant. Things that we're going to talk about is genetic screening, normal BMI, so whether you're underweight or overweight, exercising, healthy eating, of course. I'm a nutritionist. That's what I do. Toxins, endocrine disruptors, and some supplements, and then a little bit on male fertility. And this will probably again be over a series, so it'll take us a little bit of time. It could be 2 or 3 or 4, depends on how long it takes us to get through each one. So please let me know if you have questions. Reach out to me on Facebook at Taste Life Nutrition, and then my website is tastelifenutrition.com. I have an Instagram. I'm not great at it, but I do have one. You can email me at nikki@tastelifenutrition.com. I'm around, happy to answer questions. I also have an assessment on my website. So it's a free assessment. You can go to that. It takes 5 minutes to fill it out, and then I will call and we can talk about the assessment and see if there are things that that might be important. Any questions that you have, if we need to set an appointment, then so we do. Thank you for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.